while I was listening. I see some new faces on this call or maybe that aren't on a lot. And so right now we have 25 people on. If this is like your first time on a call, let us give you a shout out. So just post below, this is my first time, or I'm committed to being on these every single time, or whatever you're committed to doing. We have 25 on this call, so I want you guys to look and see who's on, and then think of someone who's not on, and for next week, like shoot them a message and remind them about the call so we can at least have 50 on next week, and we just keep doubling it that way and sharing the love, because it's really important to get on these calls. Next week is going to be amazing, by the way, and you don't want to miss it. We have an amazing guest speaker and from a different team who's an elite coach, and it's going to blow your socks off. So make sure we get the excitement out there. But let's focus on tonight's call. So I am super excited to be talking about the SIGI event that I got to go to along with a lot of the coaches on the team. He just happened to come on down to Fort Hall, Idaho, of all places, and give us a little motivational seminar. And it was amazing. And my very, very favorite part, as is with almost all events, is just hanging with the team. A lot of us went to Lava after, if you guys aren't from Idaho. It's like a hot spring. And just went to dinner and got to talk.
And only Idaho people call it lava. You know you're from Idaho if you call it lava instead of lava.
It's lava. Anyway, so if you've never been to an event and you haven't experienced that, it doesn't matter if the event is horrible, which I've never been to a horrible one. If you're with members of the team, it's always amazing just to have that FaceTime, because we get screen time, we get typing time, but to just have FaceTime and to be able to just hang out with people you feel so close to is my very favorite part. I feel like they're my family, and that was amazing. So we're kind of going to do this round robin style because there was a ton of us that went, which is a great thing. And so I talked to a few of them and asked them if they would be willing to share their favorite parts of the seminar. So we have Linda and Charlie and Chelsea P and Ryan and Natalie and Shaylin, who are all going to share tonight with you guys. And there was a lot of great speakers. And so we are just going to cover each speaker and their topic. And so I'm going to start the call off by covering Micah Folsom. She talked about going after your dreams, and she was a top 10 elite coach. She's been a multi-year elite coach, and she had some really, really great points that were great aha moments and takeaways for me. Not so much things I didn't know, but just like this business, things you know that are important have a tendency of slipping through the cracks if you're not focusing on them. So I had a lot of great takeaways from her. She talked about one thing that really stuck with me is the importance of you will be successful not because of the actions you take in this business, but because of the mindset you have in this business. You can do the bat all day long. You can invite people all day long. You can get on these calls all day long. But if you don't believe that you're a good coach, and if you don't believe you can help people, and if you don't believe whatever your goal is, so say if you don't believe you can grow a 6-figure income, but that's what you're working towards, you're not going to do it, because you have to have your mind in the right spot. So you can't just be going through the actions every day, mundanely, over and over and over and over. The most important part of this business is having the right mindset and the right attitude. So when you're feeling down or when you're questioning yourself, you've got to have either a success partner, an upline, an accountability buddy, or someone that can help pull you through and help you remember why you're doing this, so you can get your mind right. Because if your mind's not right, then you might as well not show up and do the actions, because you've got to have it all. So she talked about that. So don't just go through the motions to go through the motions. Make sure you are in your prime state, like Tony Robbins would say. So do what you need to do to get there before you start doing your things for the day. 9 out of 10 people never live their dreams. They did this survey and asked if people were actually doing what they loved, like what their dream job was. And 9 out of 10 said no. And that was kind of sad to me to think about, that people just kind of settle in life because it's maybe easy, or maybe they're fearful, or maybe, there's a lot of legitimate excuses as to why people end up doing something maybe they don't love. But when it boils down to it, it is an excuse. And so whatever those excuses are, if it's time, finances, fear, sickness, people, there's always a person that had that same excuse and that overcame it. And so you have to ask yourself if you want to be the type of person that wants to overcome their excuses or if wants to let their excuses rule their life. And so I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, you know, how lucky are, like, at least I feel like I have an amazing job where I get to live this potential. And it makes me feel sad when I talk to a lot of my friends and family that just see a job as a job. And that's just our culture. Like, you show up, you go to work, you work so you can take 2 weeks of vacation if you're lucky, but usually you're too busy at work to even take your vacation. And you have to ask, you know, for time off to take your kids to the doctor, or, you know, you can't just take a date with your husband during the day. We get to do all that. And so, and we get to help people change their lives. So we are that select few that is actually doing a job that we love. And I know you guys are all doing a job you love, or you wouldn't be on this call spending your time with us. So when you start to feel those excuses sneaking in, we hear this all the time, but I still think it's so important that you have to have a why that's bigger than your excuses. I hope all of you guys have a why that's bigger than your excuses. Unless you're a brand new coach on this call, this is your first call, maybe you haven't figured it out, but most of us do. But the thing is a lot of our coaches don't. The ones that are quitting don't have a why that's bigger than our excuse, or they would never quit. So every time I have a coach that tells me, I think I'm going to quit, I always say, do you love what this business does for you and how it makes you feel, and do you love the products? I've never had anyone tell me no yet. So I always ask that question. I consider it kind of my fault when my coaches quit if they don't have a strong why. Because if they had a strong why, they wouldn't walk away. Because for me, my why is so huge, it would be walking away from over 1,000 people that feel like family to me, walking away from my husband's sobriety program, walking away from an example I've promised my girls that I'm going to set for them every day, to be a strong, healthy mom that does something she loves, and I get to leave a legacy for them. It would be walking away from a family. It would be walking away from my dream. Like, I'm not going to quit on that. So that's my why. Like, I can't just walk away from that one day. So even though you might have a really strong why, your coaches, a lot of them don't. And so that's our responsibility to remind them of that, help them see the potential in this business, and help them establish that really strong why, so they never want to walk away either, because it's so much fun and so fulfilling. You have to show up and work hard every day, even when you don't feel like it. I love this when she said it, and it's so obvious, but I like underlined, don't feel like it, like 10 times, because it got me thinking, like, if you go to a regular job, you have to go. You have to go Monday through Friday. So we have to show up. You can't just like say, I have a headache, so I'm not going. Or my kids were up last night, so I'm not going. Or I just don't feel like it, so I'm not going. But in this business, we have that choice, and that's what makes people unsuccessful. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I ate a tub of cookie dough last night. I feel like poo. I'm not working out today. I'm just not going to do it. I can't be motivational because I didn't read my personal development, so I'm just not going to get on Facebook because I have nothing to say. Like, people do that all the time. You can't do that. You have to show up. And if you don't feel like it, then you need to get in the right spot mentally where you do. So pick up a personal development book, reach out to your person, tell them you're struggling, tell them you ate a ton of ice cream and totally fell off the wagon, and they'll help you. Like, that's what's so important about the team. Like, you don't have to be on an island by yourself. None of us are perfect. So if you write this down, like, show up even when you don't feel like it. So then the next bad day you have, when maybe you've invited 25 people and none of them have answered you, you'll think in your head, Chelsea told me I had to show up even when I don't feel like it. And then you'll get on and you'll do your vitals and you'll show up and you'll keep going. So you need to have intentional action in all things. Don't just get on Facebook and start scrolling. Like, I know all of us say we don't do it, but we totally do it. Like, you'll get on Facebook and all of a sudden you're scrolling and you don't even know. You've forgotten why you got on. You forgot what you were going to do. You're supposed to be doing your bat. So show up with intention in all things. Wake up early in the morning. Do the same routine every morning, just like Miracle Morning. Make your bed first thing. Do your incantations if you do those. If you meditate, do meditation. If you work out in the morning, do that. Personal development. And then eat that frog, very first thing. So if there's one thing on your list that you're dreading the most in the day, do that first. Do it with intention. And yes, squirrel. It's true. I have the squirrel disease so much. Like I have to wake up with intention or I'm like, all over, all the time. Once you get into a routine with your business, just like it's routine for you to brush your teeth and get dressed every morning, it's that routine. That's what I'm telling you, for sure. Like, you know you're going to brush your teeth, I hope. You know you're going to get dressed. You know you're going to take your kids to school, and then you're going to do your back, and then you're going to do your workout, or however you line it up, but it has to be that routine, and you're showing up with intention every day. Don't just do a post because you're like, oh my gosh, I've only done one post today. I need to throw something up there. Oh, I'll Google this. This looks good, and throw it up there. That's not with intention. You have to do your post with intention. Talk about why you love this business every day on Facebook. Something that's completely changed my business is, it took 2 years, by the way, so it didn't come like first. It was really hard for me to get in this habit. Was anytime I was like, I'm so thankful, I'll write it in my little notes on my phone. So yesterday I was really struggling doing my workout, and so I just jotted it down on my notes. Struggling doing my workout, I really don't want to. And then when I had time, I made a post about how I wished I loved working out. I'm a fitness coach, I'm supposed to, but it's a struggle for me. And then I listed all the reasons why it's a non-negotiable, even though it doesn't come easy. So sharing everything about your life, and if you don't write it down when it pops into your head, you forget about it because you're not doing it with intention. Then you're sitting there staring at your computer when you've only posted once thinking, oh, I have to come up with something. Well, for me, I have a whole file on my phone of reasons why I love it, or reasons why I struggle, or like just real down and dirty mom stuff, that happens throughout my day that I can post on when I'm struggling to come up with a post. So I do everything with intention. I don't just slap things up there to fill up my feed. And then we talk also this, grow into your goals. So don't be scared to set a big, huge goal because you're so new in the business and you just can't even see that. Grow into your goals and don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle or someone else's end. Don't look at other people and say, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get there because look, she's doing it. Well, she's been a coach for 2 years, or maybe she's been a coach just as long as you, but she had more of a following to start with. Or maybe she's just better at wording her posts, but you're a lot better at supporting people. You can't compare yourself to other people. So don't be scared to set those big, big, huge goals and then grow into them. Seek out ways of getting better. If you want to be out of debt and you're horrible with finances, set that goal. But then don't just set the goal. You have to then read the books on finances, read the books on getting out of debt, like actively seek ways of becoming an expert in that area. And then you don't have to be perfect. You just have to try. And you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. We've heard that 1,000 times. I don't like doing videos. I never have. I've gotten a lot better because I've been doing them for 3 years. When I very first had to do my very first video on YouTube, I was like shaking, my voice was cracking, and it was a mess. And it was the same
I remember that.
It was the same thing today for me because I did a live Facebook feed. And it was horrible, but I don't care because I was making all these excuses as to, oh my gosh, I haven't done my makeup today. Well, I never do my makeup. So like, I'm never going to do a live Facebook feed if that's the case. Or my house is a mess, or I don't know what to say. And so today I was just like, I'm doing it. I turned it on. I talked for 3 minutes. I got uncomfortable. It wasn't perfect. And my business didn't come crashing down around me. No one said anything mean or nasty on it. And it was fine. So you just have to, I always push myself to be uncomfortable. That's what you have to do. If you're comfortable and bored, you're doing something wrong, reach out to your upline and tell them you need to be pushed because you're getting bored. Okay, I've got to hurry up. I just want to end because I'm taking too long. She gave 2 amazing quotes, so you should write these down and put them in a post. Like, come up with a post that's personal to you. I love these quotes. I'm going to be doing them at some point. They're in my little list of posts to make. She said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. It's really easy in this business to look at someone, for example, like Emma, and be like, oh, Emma just got lucky because she signed up Bria. No, Emma didn't just get lucky because she signed up Bria. She worked her butt off and shared and inspired and motivated, and then Bria found her. This business isn't about luck. It's about when all your preparation and all your hard work has come to fruition, and then you have this amazing team. So, and then lastly, do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. I love that quote. I think that there's 1,000 ways of making an amazing post out of it. And I think that's what we're all here doing. We're showing up every day, training, learning, becoming better. So we can have a team that gets this. That, like, how awesome will that be? Like, do you visualize that? Do you visualize having a team of 25,000 people under you, that they've changed their lives and they're financially free and they don't have to go to work every day unless they want to, and they're setting up a legacy for their family? Like, that is amazing. And you have the ability to do that for other people by inviting them. So I hope you're visualizing that. I loved those 2 posts, so I just wanted to share those with you guys. I think you can do something awesome with them. And I'm going to hand it over to Chelsea, who's going to talk about how to add value to others.
How do I follow that? Good job, Chelsea. I thought I'd introduce myself first for those who don't know me. I'm Chelsea. I'm a mom of 4 little girls under the age of 7. So I'm very busy and my life is full of fun. I've actually been a Beachbody coach for 2 years this month. So woo-hoo, happy February. No, but seriously, starting and finishing my first Beachbody program not only changed my life, but really my family's life as well. So I love Beachbody and what it's done, and I love helping others too. So I decided, sorry, my husband's gone, so I have my baby. I apologize. Okay, I got the topic, can I add value to others? And this one really spoke to me because at Summit, in the last year's Summit, there was a speaker who asked by a raise of hands if you thought your story didn't matter, and my hand was actually raised. I didn't think that I had a story or what I had to offer would connect with others. And so I really liked Jennifer's topic about this because we really do all have something to offer. At first I was thinking, well, you know, I've never been overweight or battled weight in my life. So I felt like to make it in this business that you needed that. But that was coming to find out, you know, that it's not only physical transformations that we have through Beachbody, it's actually also inner transformations, which we all have experienced. So we all have insecurities, and she brought out the definition of fear and how it actually has 2 meanings. And I really liked it. It was forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. So we have the choice to choose one of those, and I feel like we have to face our insecurities and our struggles, and that's how people connect with us. And I still struggle with sharing my struggles, but when I do, it's really when we grow and people connect with us, and then they see, okay, if she's done that, then I can too, because it's really easy for us to, you know, share more than, I guess, to share our good moments. But when we share our struggles, we also share how it's strengthened us, and that's uplifting, and people really connect with that. So we do need to face our fears head on and rise, and then others can see that they will rise as well. And she said the best way to do that is to teach how to get those strengths from our struggles. So I thought that was really cool, because if we know how we've been through it, then that's what we need to do too, is teach others, and that's how they'll become strong and be able to face their fears as well. And then she also brought out that we, by doing this, builds our confidence. So we actually need to push ourselves. And like Chelsea was bringing out, you know, we have to set a goal that makes us uncomfortable. We have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So it's the same thing. We have to push ourselves. And then when we reach that, that's when we grow and we move forward. And then we build even more confidence in ourselves. And the best way to build that confidence is through our vital behaviors. It's through personal development. She brought out even like positive affirmations that you should be saying every morning. Have positive affirmations, and we start believing that. And then also we know through our physical exercise, that builds our confidence. That's what I gained from actually doing an exercise program, was confidence in myself. People probably would have never realized, even maybe to this day still, that I suffered self-confidence issues. So until I finished a program, and I don't know if it was the accomplishment of it, you just feel good and you get self-confidence from that, and it just goes up from there. So remember, she said, remember, we're all unique and we all have something to offer. So even though we are different, we have a story that matters. So that's what I took from it, and hopefully you took something from that. So I'm going to pass it on to Ryan, and his topic is no excuses.
Okay, yeah. So this came from Sean. He was from Canada. So he really, I really felt a connection with him. He was just a real down-to-earth person. And his story was great. He first of all, he's Scotty Hobbs' top male coach, which was impressive. But he works a full-time job. He works a night job. He has a family. He has medical issues, and he's still putting in the effort to do this. He has that no excuse attitude. Like, he is just, doesn't take no or make excuses. Or one thing that he shared with right off the start that really has connected with me also since the event was this quote that is actually Scotty Hobbs. I'm going to share it here with you guys in the chat. But the quote is, the devil will throw obstacles in front of the people who are meant for greatness to test their fate. So I've said, I'm not going to pick up extra shifts at work because it's getting in the way of me doing Beachbody, what I really want to do. And as soon as I say that, all of a sudden the phone's ringing and work's like, hey, do you want to come work? And it's kind of like an instant gratification. It sounds good at first, and I think I need the money, but it really is just pushing me back. He also went ahead and talked about good choices and bad choices. The example he used was going out and drinking. You could go out and have a bunch of drinks with your friends, but what's that going to do? How is that going to help you with this business? He kind of settled on go out and just maybe have one, but then again, are they not going to be your friends if you don't go? I guess if they would not be your friends, maybe they shouldn't be your friends anyways. But I don't know how many times I've heard Scotty Hobbs talk about when he started, and when he started I think back at that time, how I was looking for something so bad, and it really wasn't that long ago. And I think
Hey, I think we lost Ryan. Or Ryan, you're breaking up. Anyone else hear the break that it's delayed? Yeah? Ryan, do you have a hot spot in your house you can drag your laptop to?
No way.
Because you're saying some good content. And
I should have great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do something. Just go to the next person. I'll come back.
Can you just type some of the stuff? Because you were saying some really good quotes that I'm taking down, and then I didn't hear the end on some of them.
Yeah, Ryan, we'll go to the next person, and if you get it fixed, just let me know. Just message me, and then we can let you finish after, okay?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Linda, who's going to talk about breaking through limiting beliefs.
Hi.
Hello.
All right, so this is like way out of my comfort zone. Just let you know if I start babbling, it's because of my nerves. And I'm probably going to go puke. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's good. You're getting uncomfortable. Yay.
Yeah. Talking in front of people makes me very uncomfortable. But anyways, for those of you who don't know me, Linda Kershaw. I'm from Pocatello. And how I got into Beachbody initially was, well, let's just say let's see, how old was my baby? I think I just had a baby in August 2014, and I was struggling because he was colicky. I didn't get any sleep. I was like 30 pounds overweight, and I wanted to kill myself. I wanted to kill my baby. I didn't know who I was. I would have conversations with people. I had I don't know, maybe suffering from postpartum depression, I guess. But anyway, so Beachbody came to me. Charlie, I was looking for, I always been like a workout person. But anyways, this is going to kind of tie into limiting beliefs and kind of using your fear as motivation. So here I am thinking, oh gosh, my baby's like 4 or 5 months. I'm going to go through this for the rest of, people are telling me, oh, it goes on for a year. It goes on for 2 years. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot go through this. I cannot go through this at all. Something's got to change. And at that time I was starting T25. I wasn't seeing any results because my nutrition wasn't there. I was living off oatmeal. Anyways, so believing that, why me? Why is this happening to me? I have a colicky baby. I'm going through hell. My husband wasn't home. He was working so much. I just kept telling myself, every day, getting no sleep, waking I wasn't even sleeping. I'd watch the sun go down, watch the sun go up, and just, my belief is I was going to stay that way forever. I was probably going to end up hurting my baby or hurting myself if I didn't get any help. So that's when Charlie came in. We all connected. Can't remember, it's been over a year now, but so that was my thought, limiting belief. And I know that Brigitte Limford, I kind of relate to her because she had this belief system that when she had kids someday, she's going to mess them up. So I kind of I just connected with her because she's just so raw and real, and she says it all the emotions out on the table, and that's how I felt at the time. And I'm trying not to get teary-eyed because colic, it was sorry guys, it was a really big life-changing moment for me. I've never gone through it. My first baby was perfect, so I was like, the second one's gonna be just the same. Well, it wasn't. But anyway, so sorry guys. It's still almost 2 years, and I still get emotional it was just yesterday. But anyways, Beachbody has helped me tremendously with that. So Charlie Stutter came over. She gave me a couple samples, and oh my gosh, I lost 10 pounds within the first 2 weeks. And that was great. That was great. But the real part came when my son woke up and he didn't have colic anymore. It was gone. It totally fixed it. Because I was nursing him at the time, and he was getting my nutrition. So it totally Like, I will be forever grateful. And that cut my limiting belief that I was going to live that way for the next however long the colic would last. And so, but sorry guys, I'm a mess. I was like trying not to do that, but anyways. So yeah, Brigida Linford, she said some awesome stuff. I can't think of it now. I feel like I'm just rambling off, but there's no limiting beliefs anymore. You can do anything you set your mind to. I lost 10 pounds within the first 2 weeks of Beachbody. My baby boy has no more colic. He has no more stomach issues, and that is like the best thing in the whole wide world. You feel helpless. You feel totally helpless when you can't like fix a problem with your kids, when you can't fix their pain. So anyways, he still eats it every day. He still takes Shakeology every single day because I don't ever want that stuff to come back. But anyways, so I just kept telling myself that, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And so I lost 30 pounds within like the first month of doing T25. I finished that. I was no longer thinking, I'm believing I'm going to stay this way, 30 pounds, 40 pounds overweight. But so that was gone. My baby's healthy. And yeah. So I guess using fear as motivation, I was fearful that I was going to have to stay in that state. And yeah, I don't know how many parents go through colic, but that's the worst shit ever. Anybody that, I talk to that has some kind of story like that, I'm just telling them my story and reaching out to them. And, it maybe Shakeology, I know it helped me. I know it helped everything. It helped my whole life. And so I will forever be grateful. I gotta go get tissue.
Linda, that was amazing. And I am like so touched by your story. I didn't even know you were doing any of that. And I think like all of us are just like, I love hearing the testimonials about that stuff because this is why we do what we do. Like to find people that need it. Like just like you needed it and you didn't know it and Charlie shared it with you, and how awesome is that,
Yeah, she shared it at the right time. Like I totally I don't even know. I had so many conversations that I don't even remember. Like, you don't know who you are. You're like a zombie. And I'm just, forever grateful for it. And Charlie. I tell her that all the time.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing so much. I know it was way outside of your comfort zone, and I think that we all appreciated it. So major props. We're going to hand it over to Charlie, who's going to talk about being a heart-led leader.
Okay. So I am following up on Barbie Kalev's talk, and she's quite powerful to watch her speak. And, I don't want to downplay anybody's story, just like everyone is unique and different. And I don't have a big transformation story as far as weight loss, but I do have a big transformation in my family history, health. And so I'll talk a little bit about that. When Chelsea approached me about trying to do a challenge and do Shakeology and stuff, I was like, kind of iffy. And she just mentioned, that it helps lower cholesterol. And I'm like, oh, well, I have high cholesterol, so maybe I'll try that. And I've tried meds like for many years since I was 16. Because my dad passed away when I was 16 from a massive heart attack due to high cholesterol. And so it's just something that I've lived with my whole life, pretty much. And no meds have ever touched my numbers and helped lower. So I tried the Shakeology, and I had all my blood work done. And Shakeology, sure enough, does help lower cholesterol. And so that's specifically for me is why I will always drink it, and it just makes me feel amazing. But in the very beginning of when I became a coach, my kids also thought that I was pregnant with my 5th child, which there never was a fifth child because I wasn't pregnant. I was just fat. I had a beer belly. And it just made me open my eyes because my kids were starting to voice that. And it was quite embarrassing to look at myself in the mirror after that and realize that I was letting myself go. I was letting myself completely, I was forgetting about me every day. And having 4 kids, anybody that has multiple children knows that you just kind of put on the back burner. And that's the result, is you look in the mirror after time goes by so fast and you don't even recognize yourself. So I think that it's super important for us to always talk about what it is about us personally, because that's what we know deep down. And don't be scared to be vulnerable, because people can relate to that in so many ways, because nobody's perfect. And a lot of people don't realize how worthy they truly are. And that's been something that stuck out to me, is I've been going through a lot of personal issues within myself and my family over the last good year. See what you did, Linda? You're making me cry.
I'm sorry.
And my worth has been about this big. And what we need to remember is to always remember to do our personal development, because it puts our mind in check. It completely, it's there to make us grow. And it does. And I think every single one of you guys know that. Because as soon as you stop doing your personal development, that's when you start really suffering within yourself and your business. So don't forget your personal development. But anyway, that's pretty much I'll just kind of wrap up what I'm saying. But don't try and just be perfect all the time on Facebook and social media. Post pictures of your hardships. Post pictures of you pinching the fat on your belly and talking about how frustrated you are. Talk about your kids and how frustrated you are with them and their struggles. Talk about, accidents that happen, because accidents do happen. I would kind of be a little easygoing on relationships, though, because that's not really something to blast out on Facebook, if you guys know what I mean. So use your good judgment, though, and just put yourself out there. And there's no wrong way to do it, really. It's talking about you and who you are, and a lot of people will relate with you and come and find you. So I'll hand it over to Natalie. She's going to talk about...
Real fast before we do Natalie, Ryan, did you get yours working? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Charlie.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I just wanted Ryan to be able to finish up before we got too far away.
Okay, so I posted in the chat that quote from Scotty Hobbs that Sean shared. And what he brought felt like it was a lot of personal development based, and I'm sure every one of you guys have experienced it when you hear a line or a phrase that sticks with you with personal development, and then you immediately start noticing examples of that. He had a lot of that to share. That quote from Scotty, the devil will throw obstacles in front of the people who are meant for greatness to test their fate. I've had several examples where I felt like that applied to me. The other one is a year ago, you said tomorrow, you will wish that was today, or you wish you would have started today. So that really struck with me, because Scotty Hobbs talks about when he started the business 4 years ago. I started my current job at that exact same time, and I was looking for something And how I wish I would have known about this, or it would have been good. I mean, I wasn't in the right time of my life either, but it wasn't that long ago is the point. And, to see what he's done with it, it's really inspirational, I feel like, to everyone, because he's just a local person for us here in Idaho. But Sean went on to talk about what a leader is. And they don't say, I will try. They say, I will do, or I will not do. That kind of, to me, goes back to that no excuse mind frame, that mindset that he was talking about. Another one was, they don't pay attention to the noise around them. They only pay attention to the noise within them. And I feel like that is a great line for us to remember, because it's so easy for us to, start feeling like you're not valuable from like the people around you who think what you're doing is pointless, and they make snide comments and whatnot. We just need to like block out all those other distractions and just focus on what we know, what we want, and only worry about how we feel about it, and not worry about how other people are going to feel. They don't think winning is everything, but they strive to win every time. So to me, that was, it's like just always putting in that effort, like you want to win. If you're going to have some failures, that's going to make you a better person, but you're still always going to be like failing forward. They don't wait for solutions, they create solutions. So instead of, making an excuse like, oh, I'm not going to do this right now, it's like, let's figure it out, roll our sleeves up, and get it done. They are people that don't compete, they dominate. So it's like in anything, it's like you're going in there to be the best that you can be. They don't like to be micromanaged, they micromanage themselves. To me, that's been one that has been important lately. It's like time blocking my day and making sure that I'm taking care of the things when I need to take care of the things, and not just like letting my day kind of like go off the track and just, take control of it. And they don't fear success, they expect success. So, it's like us doing our work, we need to have that confidence that what we want the success, we're going to get that success. If we're just going through the motions and just kind of like hoping that we're going to get successful, that's going to pour out and show, and we're attracting the opposite. But, true leaders don't procrastinate, and they don't settle for mediocrity. So he was a really good speaker. I felt like a lot of this is like directly related to personal development we read, and he could probably be like a modern day Jim Rohn with this. That's about it.
Awesome, Ryan. Thank you. I loved those points. I hope you all wrote them down. I'm sure Ryan will share them if you guys didn't write them down. But I think that there's some really powerful things that call me out on BS a lot of times when I'm trying to make excuses. So I think maybe they might call you guys out on yours too. So, and just keep those in mind, because I think that they are really, really good maps to get you where you need to go in this business. So, okay, Natalie, sorry that I skipped over and then came back, and but let's listen to Natalie and what does success look like? I can't hear you. You got to unmute, sweetie.
Sorry, I thought I did. I was glad that I got to talk about Scotty Hobbs because I loved listening to him. Him and me are so much alike in that we're both visionaries. We love to create vision boards and goals and know where we're going to be. And so I was excited that his topic was, what does success look like? And he actually asked that to us. What does success look like to you? And some people really didn't know really what it was and what they wanted. And this ties in with our why. So he had said that he was working a lot and he knew where he wanted to be. And he had just started Beachbody and he had his goals. He knew what he was going to be. First, he was going to retire himself, and then he wanted to bring his wife home. And he was very adamant about bringing his wife home to be with their kids. Well, one day he got sick, and day 1 turned into day 2, and day 2 turned into day 3, and he was like bedridden and he was man sick, And his wife finally said, you need to get up and you need to move around, and that might do you some good. One of their kids was getting off the bus, and she said, I think it'd do you some good to go outside and meet them off the bus. You need to get up and get out. So he's like, okay, I'll do that. Well, the bus pulls up and he goes out the driveway and bam, it hits him. When his child got off that bus, he was like, this is what success looks like to me. I get to see my kid get off the bus, and now I'm going to work even harder. That's what I want to do. And he said, how many days have I missed seeing my kids get off the bus? And that may sound so simple, but as a mom, I've actually recently done that. I have been able to change my schedule, and I get to pick up my kids every day from school. I get to drop them off every day at school. And that is, so important to me. And just like seeing Chelsea with the baby on her lap and the kids, around, and with Ryan's kid coming in and hug, that's what this is all about. This is why we love what we do. And, but success could be something different to each person. So we really want to ask, what does that look like? What is that actually for us? And so he asked several questions. So I wrote out a series of questions that he had asked us for us to answer. And one of them is, what do I want this year? And we should be able to answer that pretty easy, whether it is a finance goal, a health goal, a family goal, a career goal, a spiritual goal. We should be able to answer at least that one thing we want to accomplish this year. But then he asked, what do you want in 5 years? And what do you want in 10 years? Then he asked a really amazing 2 questions. He said, how do you want to spend your days, and who do you want to spend those days with? And I thought that was so super powerful on part of that. What is success to us? He said that we need to set a goal, we need to make a plan, and then we need to take action. Just like what Ryan was saying with what Sean brought out is, this is a no procrastination. I am in charge. I get to dominate my life. And if this is what I want, I've got to set that plan, and I need to take action on that. And like you said, Chelsea, about eating that frog, the very beginning of the day, what is that action that's the most difficult for me to do to be able to make that happen, or get that ball rolling now, today? And that is one thing that I have been wanting to be an early riser. I like to stay up late at night. And so when my alarm goes off at 5 with all intentions, in fact, my alarm actually says, do not hit snooze, create a successful day. I was still hitting snooze, and it was in all caps. But I'm proud to say that this year I have set a goal, and I get up between 5 and 5:30 every morning, and eating my frog is making that time, because I do have another full-time job on top of being a mom and a girlfriend and other kids that I brought into my family. And it's so nice to have that time in the morning, and it does make your day more successful, and it just goes really well. So mine is getting up and doing my power hour first thing in the morning. I absolutely love it. He also asked the question, if I was successful, then fill in the blank. And then he also asked about our career, why do we do it? So we know
like we've talked about why over and over and over and over again, what is our why? But why really are we doing what we're doing? And then he left us with questions to answer for ourselves on finding our purpose. Those questions were, who are you? What do you do? What do you enjoy? Who do you help? What do they need? And how does their life change with what you are offering them? So he left that with us to answer those questions and really ponder over that so that we can then be able to focus even more on what we want this year, what we want in 5 years, what we want in 10 years. And then now it's Shay's turn, right?
Thanks, Natalie. Great job. I will try to be brief, you guys. I know that we need to wrap up, but I was asked to speak about what Sagi covered, and I think it was really important for Sagi to give us all his story. And you've all, I'm sure, heard him, talk. He acts like such a tough guy, and sometimes he's a little bit hard to follow. So I'll do my best to kind of connect the dots to what he wanted us to understand about him. But he started off by putting a picture of himself up and basically saying how so many people they try to put him in a box and they try to stereotype him. And I think we all do that to a certain degree. And I can relate to that. Like, I feel like that happens to me a lot as well. And, people look at me and they're like, oh, she's just this little blonde that she's always happy and nothing bad ever happens, or she's never stressed or whatever, And it's like, I think that people just have a tendency to do that. And so he kind of like tried to break through that, and he wanted to really share his story and who he is so that people could really see him for who he is. Sagi grew up in the slums of Israel with no dad, and it was just him and his mom, who he adores. And I think that's pretty cute. Like, he's got a really, really cute relationship with his mom. He served in the Israeli army or the military. And it's funny because he told us he got shot in the butt. And so he got made fun of because everybody told him he was like Forrest Gump. I thought that was really funny. And he actually ended up going to the gym for the first time a little bit later on in life. And he fell in love with it the first time that he went. And so I think that, obviously we all know what happened from there. He started working out a lot. He competed in figure competitions and things like that. It was funny because he said that the first one that he did, he was so cocky, and he invited everybody that he knew to come and watch him compete, and he got completely slaughtered. He got humbled and shut up, and it was really embarrassing for him. And so the second time he competed, he didn't invite a single soul, and he won, of course, naturally. But that was kind of funny. And he decided that he needed to get out of his living environment and really pursue his dreams. And he told his mom that he was going to go to the land of opportunity, that he was going to go to America. And she didn't believe him. But he did, and he bought 2 tickets. He bought one to America and one back home. And he came to America, and he just talked about his struggles and how he actually was, first of all, he sent his ticket to go back home back over to his mom because he didn't want it. He wanted to make sure he was there. He was going to stay here in America and just make it work. And he really struggled. He was homeless. He was living out of his car, literally eating tuna fish and beans out of a can with a plastic fork because he didn't have any silverware. And he had hit rock bottom, basically. And he said that he went to a phone booth because at the time, this was before cell phones, and he was going to call his mom and have her send him the ticket back to go back home. And that was his turning point, where he decided, and he gave the analogy of, imagine that you're you're by a phone booth and the phone rings are you going to pick it up to find out who it is? Like, it could be your destiny calling, you know, and you just don't know. I always use the door analogy. Like, you know, if there's a door that's open, are you going to walk through it or are you going to close it? And so he decided right then and there that he was going to make it work and he was going to stay home and he wasn't going to call his mom. And again, he just talked about his struggles and things like that. And finally, somewhere down the line, he got an email from Beachbody. And he was like, Beach who? What in the heck is this company? Like, you know, to audition for Body Beast, to be the Beast. And as you can imagine, the rest is history. I'm trying to kind of run through this really quickly, so I hope that I'm actually like doing a good job of filling you guys in on what he went through. But that really hit a note with me, that hit home to me. I left home at a pretty young age, right, you know, after getting married. And my husband and I, we just packed everything up and we left everything that we knew. We sold our home. We had nowhere to live. And we went to a different state to make it in careers that we had never done before. And that was the scariest moment of our lives. And we literally had nowhere to live. We had no money. We had nothing to do. We just had a dream and a hope that we could make it better where we were living than where we had been. We knew we wanted to get out of where we were. And so we would work all day, 7 days a week. And then we would, in order to pay for our room and board, we would actually, we stayed at a hotel for 6 months. And in order to pay for that, we worked the front desk at night. And this was not a fancy hotel. This was a total dive. This was literally crackheads knocking on your door at 3 a.m. because they wanted to go, you know, use a room for whatever. And it was scary as hell. And I remember the turning point for me, like the phone booth time for me. I got in a big fight with my husband. I was like, I can't believe that we're here. We have nothing. What are we doing? And I left for several hours and I just cried and I drove for hours and hours and hours. And it just hit me like, you're the only one that can decide like what to do with this situation, you know, and you can decide you can sink or you can swim, sister. It's up to you. Like you only have one of two choices that you can make. And so turned the car back around. I went back to the hotel room and just flipped the switch of thinking about my situation. And it ended up being a really great year. Our careers were great. But that really, it struck a chord with me. And I know that, you know, sometimes you don't understand the struggles behind what people go through to get to the point where they are. And I thought it was a really beautiful story that he told. And he just wanted people to be sure that they stood in their power and they understood once they decided what it is that they want to do, that they go for it wholeheartedly and you don't take no for an answer and you just bulldoze through any of those walls that you've built up around yourself. So that's kind of what I had. Chelsea, I'll turn it back over to you if you had anything else you wanted to discuss.
Awesome. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. I know some of you guys have talked and some of you haven't, and I think you all did so well, and I appreciate you for sharing your stories and your takeaways from this event. That's what it's all about, is just being a team, being a family, helping others grow and sharing. I think I just want to wrap it up, and it's late, so just remember that we all are doing this for very different reasons, but we're doing it to help others. And Sagi, I'm just going to close up with the story that he shared, and I can't remember the exact details, so I might say it a little wrong, but I have the gist of it. He was doing a workout, and there was this little 9-year-old girl there, and she was just working out, and he walked up to her live at this event, and he said, I'm going to call you Baby Beast. And she just stood up, and she goes, Baby Beast, I like that. And all of a sudden, all these people, her family, came around her and started bawling and crying and freaking out. And Sagi was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Like, I did something wrong. I've totally offended these people. Like, they're bawling, like hysterically bawling and crying. And they told him, and if I say this wrong, you guys correct me, but I'm pretty sure when she was 2, she had seen her mom. Did her mom die? No, just got beaten, right? Okay, her mom had gotten like beaten and assaulted, and she never spoke another word. And so from the time she was 2 till the time she was 9, she never spoke. And all Siggy did was say that, and something in her clicked. And we have the ability to believe in people and to do that for other people. And you never know whose life you're going to change just by reaching out and offering a helping hand, smiling at someone, getting a little uncomfortable and reaching out to someone that may need help. You just never know whose lives you're going to affect. And that is what is so magical about coaching, that we get to do that for other people. So don't be a closet coach and be scared, because you never know who you're going to be able to help. And you can't help unless you're willing to make yourself vulnerable. So I love that story, and it just really highlighted and kind of summed it all up. I know we ran way late, and I thank you guys for staying on and hanging with us. I hope you guys found something helpful. I would love you to share one takeaway, because if you took one thing away from this call, it was a success. I'd love for you to share one takeaway in SOAR that you're going to implement in your business and post it there. Thank you guys so much for being on the call, and have a great night.